Good afternoon. I think it's afternoon now. Good afternoon, everyone. I am here with a little video. Some of my content might take a little longer to get out. I'm actually having carpal tunnel surgery done on both of my hands at the same time in hopes that I'll be ready for hunting season. Now, that probably means I won't be able to hunt the early antlerless season, which, I mean, it'll probably be like 80 degrees, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. But it does give me the opportunity. I decided on my Centerpoint amped, it's a 425, I believe it is, right here. I am going to use the crank on that today. I actually go to get surgery in like 45 minutes. So I actually am going to use the crank on this today, do a quick review of that before I go get my surgery. And then maybe if I have to, I can have my wife crank this back for me if I want to go out and go hunting before my hands are all the way better. So let's go ahead and look at the crank to start and just kind of give my thoughts on that. So here's the crank. It is pretty straightforward, guys. It has the square and the circle. It fits right into the buttstock right there. So you stick it in there, you unlock it, pull that up and over. That's your cocking sled. Now guys, this is metal. I've actually been seeing a lot of people complaining that Barnett's is plastic. I don't think that plastic is necessarily bad, but it is cool to see metal on there. Got a nice metal handle. This comes separate and you just put that screw in and then you are ready to go and cock back your bow, guys. It's all metal, so it is heavy. That is the downside. If you're carrying this around, it's hefty, but your string in there is decent size. It's not really thin. And that was one of the problems I had with the Hyper Raptors. So got my target at about 20 yards, give or take a yard. And I'm just gonna be cranking it back and launching a couple here real quick. So something pretty cool on this Centerpoint crossbow is that your foot stirrup, you can flip it down and use it as like a tripod to shoot off of. So I'm gonna flip it and then show you guys. I can't do it one-handed. So I'm gonna flip it and then show you what that is. And that's actually pretty nice for shooting or for hunting if you have something to set it on. So this is it right here. You gotta push this and then it flips down. So there you go. And then it comes all the way down, guys. And cocks, I don't wanna rest it on the limbs here. So let's see if I can do this one-handed. There you go. And then it locks back into place right there. So now, I do apologize for the bad filming, guys. Now, you have a nice, basically tripod, but it's your foot stirrup to shoot with. And it's all part of the bow. I think that's pretty cool. Just a nice little trick on these center points. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to put this in here. Guys, something to note, you are gonna have to push this in before you can use the rope cocker. So if you have, not the rope cocker, the crank cocker. So if you have your adjustable stock out, you need to put that in all the way before you can use your crank cocking device. I don't think that's a huge deal, but you're gonna want to remember to do that. Otherwise you might get a little frustrated trying to fit that in there. So make sure that you put your butt stock all the way in before you try to put this into the groove. Okay, so here's your crank cocking device. My advice would be get a little slack in there before you try to put it in. This just fits right in here. Again, make sure your butt stock is adjusted all the way in. Now you push up on that unlock lever and you just pull this right out. Watch out for your scope, obviously. You just hook it right onto your string there. It automatically goes back to lock, and then you can just start cranking your string right up. Now my advice would usually be to probably do this sitting the bow down on the ground. You're gonna crank it back until you hear that safety and double check, make sure the safety's on. Give it a little tension and then let go. And there you go. Now you're gonna unlock that. Watch out for that handle, guys, when you do this, because it wants to fly around. Here, let me switch hands so you can see. that handle wants to zip around on you. And then you're just going to crank that back up. Now, that's why you should probably do it on the ground, guys. A little more stable, but I wanted you to be able to see. Now, as far as crank cocking devices go, I actually like this one. One, it's silent. Two, the strings are not very thin, so they're pretty decent. And the sled is actually metal, guys, which is extremely nice. And then from there, everything is just kind of back to normal. Make sure your tip is on tight. The white fletching goes down. Guys, just a little tip when you're loading your crossbow. I actually didn't used to do this, but if you can load and keep your fingers above this point, if for some reason that string was ever to fly forward, it would not hit your hand, which was smart. Someone commented that on one of my earlier videos. This is actually pretty genius. So using that nice built-in tripod, here we go. So I took a couple shots with that, guys. It's pretty handy, honestly. I'm not a big handle guy, but as far as, or let's call it a crank cocking guy, but as far as crank cockers go, I like that a lot better than the Hyper Raptors. It's just simple, and I actually like that you can just take it off. It's not built in. It's smooth, it's quiet. You can't really beat that. But I do have a little concern with my serving a little bit. After not too many shots here, I'm a little concerned that I'm gonna have to keep an eye on it. Look, right there, you can kind of see a little separation where the sleds are pulling it back. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Hopefully that's all right. But again, this is about the crank cocking device, and I'll just have to keep an eye on that. Hopefully that doesn't keep being an issue. But definitely a nice crank cocking device, guys. That's what this video is about. I have to go get ready for my surgeries. So shorter video, but I just wanted to do a quick review of that before I forgot. And we'll see, maybe I'll have to use it here in the next few weeks for that early season if I'm feeling up to it. And if it's not 80 degrees like it is today. So thanks for checking out the video. We'll catch you next time, guys. Have a good one. If you can, subscribe, guys. It helps out the channel. Thank you.